Hi friends, this is Laura with Potpourri of Life. How are you today? Today I am outside picking things from the garden, little things here and there. And what motivated me was when after I was watering later this morning, I found my first tomato. It's turning red. I know I should let it stay on there and get a little redder, but I'm excited. So I'm going to let that redden up inside. I also have some beautiful raspberries. Oops. That are coming along, and my husband really likes them fresh from the garden because they just taste better when they're freshly picked. And I've picked out some more bee balm and some clover, and later on, after I've dried a bunch of bee balm, I will show you how I make my dried tea. And what I tend to do is I dry them separately, but I have chamomile and I have bee balm. And I usually drink that like at nighttime if I'm stressed, if I have a headache coming on, because it actually calms things down. So that's when I use that. And if I have a migraine and stuff, sometimes that'll kick it out, that'll help it a lot. I've got some tarragon, maybe I said that already. The other thing that I found out there, and I was very excited about, was the lavender I found. And what you see is that I have some sage, and I'm actually allergic to sage in terms of I can't consume it, I can't rub it on my body. But what I can do is I can make, why do I have trouble with this? It's a sage stick, a smudge stick. And the two together, the lavender and the sage, it just smells so wonderful. And so I just like to smudge the house with this. And this is just enough to make a small one. It'll be perfect. So I gotta let it dry a little bit before I can do that. The other few things, I think I've mentioned these things already, is this here is feverfew. And what I do with this is, this will be for migraine medicine. This is the first year I'm growing this, and I have two plants. I picked up from a neighbor who was selling some wild stuff growing in her yard, so I bought some from her, and I'm very excited because I wasn't sure how much I would get, but if you properly prune your plants, you get more and more flowers. And that's what I did. Some of these are fine. There's no other flowers growing in. I want to get something to show you. If I had a flower like, let's see if I can do it. See where that's coming up? If there was a flower there, I would cut right above it. But since there wasn't, these came up just fine. But I also have some very small ones too, that there was some more flowers, and what it is, they're very tiny, like the size of a pen tip. So I'm going to just let them go and they will grow. But the more you prune, the more it produces. And that's the way it is with roses, the way with many herbs and stuff. You just prune right to where the next flower is coming. Same thing with the clover. I think I shared I got a bunch of clover out there. Not as much as I did when I first started for the spring, but that's okay. I got a big quart jar that I'm really excited about that. The last two things that I've harvested today, and what this is thyme, and oh, and here's a rosemary. Rosemary is coming in a lot. I have more to harvest. Rosemary is one of those scents that it's like, it's Christmas. Christmas in summer. It just smells so good. Yeah, I almost want to make a balsam pillow, but use rosemary instead. I think it would smell really, really nice. Sadly, when rosemary dries, it's very prickly, and some of the petals that have dried already I've stepped on, and it feels like needles going through your feet, because if you haven't figured it out, I go barefoot in my gardens all the time. So, and here's some thyme, and it's really pretty. It's got a really pretty scent. Now what I do And I have been drinking thyme and rosemary tea since I became ill with Lyme disease. And what they do, they both, I wrote it down so I wouldn't forget anything. So with thyme, what I do is I take the two, about this size, I throw it in a teacup. It might be 1.5 cups of water. And I put it in with hot water and let it steep for 20 minutes so it can get all the nutrients out of it. So with the thyme, it's a disinfectant, so you can use it in your cleaning. If you've got a spray or something like vinegar, you could put thyme in there to give it a different scent. I tend to use lavender. I've also used rosemary, but I kind of like the lavender better. But thyme would work as well. It also repels pests, which is another reason why I grow it in my garden. It's aromatherapy. It boosts your mood, and it tickles your nose too. So it can boost your mood. This is the reason that I use both of them in what I call a lime tea. I have another blend of herbs that is my Lyme protocol when things are at its worst. But the two of these, they are both antibacterial, antimicrobial. This one, the thyme, is actually good for yeast infections. So if you have a yeast infection, you can have a tea, and that should help. When I say this, I'm not saying that you won't have to use pharmaceuticals. I'm just saying they might help prevent. So, and it lowers your blood pressure, alleviates cough, boosts your immunity, and fights acne. Now, and that's pretty good. I'm not worried about acne myself, but young kids are, and some adults do too. Now, rosemary is an awesome herb. So it's good for your gut health. It's good for hair growth. Now, I have made a vinegar hair rinse with rosemary, but I didn't like it because it makes my hair a little bit oily, because I have naturally oily hair type of thing. So I personally only use it maybe once in a while. So I don't make a lot of the vinegar rinse. It can enhance your memory. Another reason I used it for Lyme treatment. It can reduce liver damage. Now, I don't have liver damage, so I don't know. It relieves stress, and if you smell it, that's why I want to make a rosemary pillow. It can balance your hormones. I really need to work on that because my hormones went nutso. It's good with skincare. It can limit weight gain. That's what they say. When I'm treating for Lyme disease, I have a problem gaining weight. So, and I've used this even on the onset, and I was gaining weight. So I think it really depends on your metabolism. And a lot of these things that say it can help, you kind of have to, it's a trial and error. For some people it will, and some, it's like the rosemary makes my hair more greasy, where other people, it gives it the boost it needs, most especially if they have naturally dry hair. So you kind of have to try and see if it causes the improvement. And remember, if you're doing it for a health benefit, such as weight gain or something like that, you have to try it for a while. It as well is antibacterial, antimicrobial. Another reason that I was using it combined was to reduce pain. It does detox too. That's what it claims. It told me. And then it can boost your red cell production. So both of them have fabulous benefits. But you have to work with your herbs to find out how it's going to best work with you. And with somebody with Lyme disease or any other disease, including the new virus that's out, you kind of have to try to see if it helps alleviate some symptoms. Now, it's already known that I will be kind of working on Lyme maybe the rest of my life. I would like to have a year with no symptoms. But I've come to accept the fact that this is part of my life. I have some great days, and I'm nowhere near where I used to be. And but So coming out into the garden and looking at the herbs, pulling the herbs, finding my first tomato, these are things that are exciting for me. And this is just being out in nature and having all these smells around me. We talk about aromatherapy. Aromatherapy is very, very helpful with our moods. And when we have a healthy mood, it helps us to heal in other areas as well. So I hope that even if you can't grow a garden, grocery stores have an area in their produce aisle that they have little plants that you can possibly pick up. They do sell the herbs in small packages. The only thing with that is if you can have some in your house, it's cost effective to have a little plant in your window. My windows don't do that great. Sometimes they do. Up until the darkest of winter, my plants don't do well inside. But if you have a window that's southern facing, you can keep these herbs going inside. So you might want to consider doing something like that, even if you don't consume them. And by the way, when I drink the thyme and rosemary tea, I don't even put any sweeteners in whatsoever, because for me it's perfect. And I have a feeling I need to start drinking it a little bit more. But anyways, I have some more herbs like yarrow. I have I forgot some of the other things that I have growing that I can't wait to kind of harvest. They're all flowering, but I'm taking my time. I'll dry these up, get these prepped, and then I'll see what I can do tomorrow if I decide to do that. But the garden is, some beans are starting to come up, some peas. Not enough is coming that I'll be able to can them, but you know what? I'll get to enjoy them this summer, and I think, at least I can do that. Definitely canning tomatoes. Peppers, I'm not too sure about. Those aren't coming along too well. And I think I'll be getting some squashes too. So that's me in my garden today after taking care of some indoor chores that needed to be done. And I am going to go inside and start working on this and getting a few other things taken care of. I hope that you have an opportunity today to go outside, enjoy the fresh air, enjoy the wildlife. As you can see that I'm out here in the gazebo, but the birds are very loud. The squirrels are very active, and chipmunks. It's always busy around here with them. And it's interesting, these sounds, as loud as they are, those are the type of sounds that don't bother me. Phone sounds and TV, there's different sounds kind of cause headaches and pain, but animal life, it doesn't, and I'm just so grateful for that. So I hope you have a great afternoon. Seriously, get out into the gardens or go to a farm stand. See if you can get just a whiff of nature growing. And if anything else, at least pick something up for dinner, something fresh like vegetables or whatever. Have a great day, and may God bless you.